Hi, this is Corral at corralaficklin.com and Welcome Network, WYLCOME, welcomenetwork.com. And we are finishing up looking at the history of English through irregular verbs. And we're talking about those irregular verbs that entered into the English language after 1175. And what I did was I just looked at the verbs, and I can even give you more or less the dates when these words entered into the English language. Let me give you some of the important words. Okay, for example, the verb to catch. Now, you're going to begin to see words that enter into the language, and they're not purely Germanic verbs. You're going to see now words that are also Norman French, not Parisian French, Norman French, and there is a difference. There's a big difference. Okay, so you have the word to catch. Now this is from Latin and Norman French, and this entered into English between 1175 and 1275. Okay, so it's catch, caught, caught. You have the verb to cost. This is from anglo-french or Norman French, okay, and this entered into the language between 1200 and 1275. You have the verb to cut. Now this is between 1175 and 1275. Excuse me, cost. Sorry, to cut. Now this is from Old English, and it's akin to Old Swedish and Old Norse, so it's Germanic. And it's cut, cut, cut. Once again, the only way you know whether you're talking in the present versus the past participle is the context. So I always cut the bread every night. Last night I cut the bread. I have cut the bread for dinner tonight. So you can see it's cut, cut, cut. Okay, to dig. Okay, and this is, once again, it comes from the Old English ditch, so it's Germanic, and the word ditch came into the English language prior to 900, but this dig came in between 1275 and 1375, and it's dig, dug, dug. And it used to be, I don't think they say this anymore, but they used to say when a man liked a woman or a woman liked a man, or, girl liked a female or whatever, or girl liked a girl or a boy liked a girl. You like someone romantically, you say, I dug him. Okay, or you like somebody because you understand him, Or you can say, I dig you. But I don't think they say that anymore. I think that's more like the 60s and maybe the 70s, but I think definitely by the 90s it was out. But if you've seen the old movies, you'll hear it. Okay, let me give you some more. The verb to get. I would think this verb would have entered much earlier. It entered between 1150 and 1200 because it's such an important verb. It's from Old Norse, and it's geta. I guess that's how you pronounce it. G-E-T-A, and it means to obtain or to beget. Right? You don't use the word beget that much anymore. You hear it in the Bible. Okay, now you have the get, got, gotten. I keep forgetting to give you the forms. Then you have the verb to hurt. It entered English between 1150 and 1200. It's from Old French and Old Norse. They can't decide because they both look like they borrowed from each other. I can't pronounce either one. All right, but it's hurt, hurt, hurt. Don't ever let anyone say hurted. That is wrong, wrong, wrong. I always hurt my arm when I do exercise. I hurt my arm last night. I got hurt in the accident, but don't ever say hurted. Okay, let me give you some more. To pay, that's from Middle French. No, I can't pronounce it. My French is horrible. Okay, from payer. Payer, okay. Ooh, that's horrible, right? Payer. I think that's wrong though. To pay, and it's from Middle French or Norman French, 1150 to 1200. It came into the English language, and it's pay, paid, paid. Okay, to quit, also from Old French. It's from Old French. came into the language between 1175 and 1225. And it's quit, quit, quit. It is never quitted. Okay? Now you can say quitting time, but that's as an adjective. All right. Let me give you some more that I think are important. Now, see, to sweep. Okay. To sweep came into English from Middle English sweeping. And it also came from Old English and from German, which we will not pronounce. It came in between 1125 and 1275, and it's sweep, swept, swept. Okay. And to try. All right. Once again, I would think that would have come in a little bit early because it's a very important verb. It entered English between 1250 and 1300. It's from Anglo-French and Old French, travailler. Okay. And you can also see the Latin influence, because if it's from French, you see the Latin influence. And it's try. Well, you know, it's not that irregular. Tried and tried. Okay. Now, what I want to do is go back up and look at some words that came into English as a result of the French. Okay, so let's see. Now, these words came into English by 1300, and these are nouns. Action, adventure, damage, debt, error, face. That's one of the few body words that are not Germanic. Face. And I know in French they have the word face, but they don't use it. I think in English and in French is visage. I'm not sure about that. Okay. Powder, power, reason, rage, scandal, cruelty. These are words that came into English from French by 1300. And remember, by 1300, when you start getting in the 1300s, the 1400s, then English is becoming a very secure language. By that time, nothing could make it not be the language of the country. Norman children who are descendants of the people who invaded England, by this time, either one or two things. Either they spoke Norman, French, and English, or sometimes they only spoke English. It's like children when they come to the United States or when they go to France, right? They speak the language of the country. So even though their parents are Spanish speakers or German speakers or French speakers, they say, oh, I understand. Or Korea. I know a woman, she came to the United States when she was 3 years old from South Korea. She understood Korean somewhat. She said her Korean was very bad. Understood it. But she didn't speak it. She spoke the language of the country. Just like, I suppose, if I go to Korea, although I know, they don't accept foreigners, especially foreigners who look like me, very easily, my child, if I had a child, would eventually speak Korean. And by the grandchild would say, oh, English. Nobody speaks English. Okay. So, what was I doing? Season, sign, sound. All right. Now, adjectives that came into English as a result of the French would be calm, cruel, easy, fierce, foreign, frank, gay, but gay meaning happy, eventually became have the other meaning. Jolly, innocent, horrible, what is it? Horrible, horrible. I love the way they do it because I can't do it, right? Okay, some of the verbs, because I'm running out of time, would be cry, count, enjoy, flatter, grant, inform, move, muse, nourish, obey. Okay, I'm running out of time. So those are looking at the history of language through looking at irregular verbs. Now I'm going to look at the history of the language by looking at body parts and expressions. Corralifican at corralifican.com, welcomenetwork.com.